Picture a serene, idyllic neighborhood where tranquility is the order of the day. A place where the sun shines a little brighter, the grass seems a little greener, and the air carries a hint of fresh-baked pies. This is your quintessential American suburb, nestled comfortably away from the hustle and bustle of the city. The streets are a tableau of domestic bliss. Children's laughter rings through the air as they chase after a dog, its tail wagging in pure joy. Sprinklers rhythmically water manicured lawns, creating tiny rainbows in the afternoon sun. In the distance, a mailman goes about his rounds, waving cheerfully to the residents. The houses, lined up in perfect harmony, are a testament to the American dream. White picket fences, two-story homes, each with a gleaming car parked in the driveway. Neighbors meet on sidewalks, exchanging friendly banter and the latest town gossip. Barbecues turn into block parties as twilight falls, the air filled with a sense of camaraderie and community. It's the kind of place where doors are left unlocked, where everyone knows everyone, and safety is a given. In this tranquil setting, we meet our protagonist, a new resident who has just moved into the neighborhood. A fresh start in a new home, filled with hope and promise. They are welcomed with open arms, with neighbors stopping by to introduce themselves, bringing homemade dishes and warm smiles. It's a picture-perfect start to a new chapter in their life. But you see, appearances can be deceiving, and this seemingly perfect neighborhood is no exception. For beneath the veneer of peace and tranquility, beneath the smiles and the friendly hellos, there is something else, something that doesn't quite fit the idyllic image. A shadow that creeps into the corners of this picture-perfect frame, unseen but palpable. However, beneath the picturesque facade there lurks a chilling secret. Enter the new neighbor, a man of few words and fewer smiles. Our protagonist first met him on a sun-drenched Tuesday afternoon, the new neighbor's silhouette disrupting the mundane rhythm of the quiet suburb. Now, the new neighbor wasn't your run-of-the-mill introvert. He was a mystery wrapped in an enigma, his persona shrouded in a peculiar sense of isolation. His name? Well, he introduced himself as Mr. Smith, a title as common and unremarkable as the man himself tried to appear, but beneath the surface, there was a disconcerting oddity that was hard to ignore. His eyes, they were always darting, restless, as if constantly on the lookout. His smiles were rare, but when they did grace his face, they were cold, devoid of any warmth. His laughter? Well, let's just say it was as rare as a blue moon. The main character observed Mr. Smith's daily routine from a distance. The man would leave his house each morning, dressed in the same dull gray suit, carrying the same old leather briefcase. He would return late in the evening, sometimes well past midnight, his steps always hurried, his expression always wary. And then there were the oddities, the strange noises that would occasionally emanate from Mr. Smith's house late at night. The way he would sometimes stand in his front yard in the dead of night, staring into the distance. The unusual number of black garbage bags he would put out for collection each week. But perhaps the most unsettling was his aversion to any form of social interaction. Invitations to neighborhood gatherings were always politely declined. Attempts at casual conversation were met with curt replies. It was as if Mr. Smith was deliberately building walls around himself, walls that screamed "stay away." The main character's curiosity was piqued. His intuition told him that something was amiss. Something about Mr. Smith just didn't add up. With every passing day, the main character's suspicion grows, fueled by the neighbor's unsettling demeanor. A seemingly innocuous event leads to an unsettling discovery. Our protagonist, let's call him John, was on a typical Saturday morning jog. As he passed by the new neighbor's house, something caught his eye. A package, haphazardly wrapped, sat on the porch, unattended. It was an odd sight in this otherwise meticulous neighborhood. But it was not just the sight, something else seemed out of place. An unusual smell. Not quite metallic, not quite chemical. A scent that was as strange as it was unsettling. The day rolled on, but John couldn't shake off the oddity of the morning. He found himself drawn back to the neighbor's house later that afternoon. The package was still there, untouched, and the peculiar smell lingered in the air, stronger now. His curiosity piqued, John approached the porch. The smell was overwhelming, and a chill ran down his spine. This was no ordinary package. Unable to resist, John leaned closer. The package was heavier than it looked, and something shifted inside with a muted thud. A cold realization washed over him. What if the package was not just a package? What if it was something more sinister? His mind raced with terrifying possibilities. Every news story about unexplained disappearances, every true crime podcast he'd ever listened to, all the tales of unsuspecting neighborhoods shook him to his core. He felt his heart pounding in his chest, matching the rhythm of his mounting fear. John was not a man given to flights of fancy, but the strange smell, the mysterious package, the new neighbor who kept to himself, all these elements painted a picture that was hard to ignore. He couldn't help but wonder, had he been living next to a monster all this time? The tranquility of the neighborhood suddenly felt like a distant memory, replaced by an impending sense of dread. The main character's worst fears are confirmed when the shocking truth is revealed. In the quiet stillness of nightfall, the main character, driven by a blend of fear and determination, ventures to unravel the chilling enigma that is their neighbor. The grim clues, previously dismissed as mere oddities, now form a spine-tingling mosaic of horror. The late-night digging, the strange smell wafting from the neighbor's backyard, the erratic behavior, everything begins to make a haunting sense. A clandestine visit to the neighbor's house unveils the terrifying truth. Hidden in the basement, a grim tableau is discovered. Personal belongings of several missing locals, photographs with faces crossed out in red, and a meticulously maintained logbook detailing the unspeakable acts perpetrated on each victim. The neighbor, the quiet man next door, is indeed a serial killer. The revelation sends shockwaves through the protagonist's psyche. A cold dread washes over them as they realize what they've stumbled upon. They're living next to a monster, a predator who has been hunting within their peaceful community. But the main character, despite their fear, knows what must be done. They contact the authorities, providing them with the damning evidence. The news spreads like wildfire, casting a chilling pall over the once idyllic neighborhood. Parents hug their children closer, neighbors lock their doors, and the streets are filled with an eerie silence. Trust, once freely given, is now a scarce commodity. The realization is a gut punch to the community. The friendly neighbor who would wave hello, who would lend a helping hand, who would share a laugh at the local barbecue, was nothing more than a carefully crafted facade. Beneath it lurked a cruel and remorseless beast, preying on the unsuspecting residents of their quiet haven. The fear that grips the neighborhood is palpable. The tranquility of their lives has been shattered, replaced by a gnawing dread. The once familiar faces now seem fraught with suspicion. The place they once called home, their safe haven, feels tainted, forever marred by the grisly actions of one man. The once serene neighborhood had now become a living nightmare. In the wake of the revelation, the neighborhood is forever changed. The tranquility that once defined it is shattered, replaced by an eerie silence that hangs heavy in the air. The once vibrant community is now a ghost town, its residents hollow echoes of their former selves, their lives irrevocably tainted by the terror that once lived among them. The police investigation unfolds, their presence a constant reminder of the horror that has befallen this once idyllic neighborhood. Day after day they comb through the house next door, each new discovery a shocking testament to the hidden life of the man they thought they knew. The media descends like vultures, their cameras and questions an intrusive spotlight on a community grappling with the unimaginable. The fear and paranoia that grips the neighborhood is palpable. Trust, once given freely, is now a luxury they can't afford. Every unfamiliar face, every unexpected noise sends a chill down their spines. The children no longer play freely in the streets. The adults whisper in hushed tones, their conversations a mix of fear, disbelief, and regret. They had lived side by side with a monster, and they hadn't known. Our main character, once a pillar of this community, is now a shell of the person they used to be. The guilt of not seeing the signs weighs heavily on their heart. They grapple with sleepless nights, haunted by the knowledge of what transpired next door. Their journey is a painful one, marked by self-doubt and a desperate search for closure. Yet, they find solace in their resilience, in their determination to reclaim their lives from the shadow of this nightmare. And so the quiet suburb was left with a chilling reminder of the nightmare they once lived next door to. Their innocence may have been lost, but their spirit is not broken. They face the aftermath with a newfound strength, a collective resolve to rise above the horror that once threatened to consume them. In the end, they are not just survivors, but a community united by their shared experience, forever bound by the tale of the nightmare next door.